Welcome back, everybody. Coach Unfiltered. I am Coach Art. Once again, episode 10. Thank you for joining us. Today, if it's not obvious, I'm joined by some very special guests. I've got Mr. Coach Brian Hurley and Coach Tiffany Knobloch with me today. Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you for being here. Tiffany, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Tiffany. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to where I work. I have F45 Summerwood here. I am a personal trainer coach there. I also do admin as well. I played soccer for 21 years. I've reffed for 12 years. That soccer consisted of 4 years of high school club throughout Division I soccer. I played D3 college soccer and 5 years of semi-pro soccer. And currently my main job, besides working at the gym, would be reffing soccer and making sure that the kids have a great time while they're out there.
Man, that's a resume. I'm just a coach. But Coach Brian, tell us a little bit about you. Can you match that?
I'll try.
All right, man. Let's see what you got.
So I've been a club coach for 18 years, coached at various clubs throughout the Houston area. I'm currently a high school coach at Needville High School. I coach girls varsity. I'm going into my third year as the head coach there. I also have my own private training business called Greater Soccer, where I train individuals or groups on a weekly basis. And, that's going great. That's something I just started. Plus, in addition to that, I also referee when I'm not coaching.
Nice. All right. Man of all trades. That's good. All right. So welcome to the show. Let's see what kind of input they can give us, right? So brought them in here to really get a lot more input on some of the stuff we've been seeing. Let's kick it off. First off, I'm really digging the multi-vision part of the Peacock app. Am I supposed to say Peacock? They don't sponsor us. But the Peacock app has the greatest split screen thing ever. Because even they say it, right? More soccer is better with more Spanish. Or soccer looks better in Spanish. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. And I've been really watching a lot of matches. You guys have been catching them, most of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, one match right off the bat. Portugal, Uzbekistan. 5-0 Portugal. Ronaldo finally shows up. Now, I know the stress was big. All the stars had already shown up last week. Everyone's already 5-4 goals in. He was feeling the pressure. We had Lionel Messi, Erling Haaland, Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe, even Mohamed Salah. All these guys had already produced, and he had quite a bit of trouble on that first game. It's great to see that he's joined his rivals. They've qualified. They're moving on to the round of 32, right? Portugal.
Correct. They just don't know where yet.
They don't know where yet.
Yep.
Where could they possibly end up?
Well, if they win, they'll be in first place. If they tie, they will be in second. Unless DR Congo comes out and scores 10 goals against Uzbekistan, it's very rare that they'll be in third place. So they'll at least be in second or first.
Cool. Who do they advance to if they go in second place?
That has not been decided quite yet.
Yeah.
So today, the last day of a group play, there's a lot of interesting things that can happen. So who knows? They might be meeting Argentina in the second round of 16. So
Very
who knows?
cool. All right. So with all these superstars out there, you got a favorite one?
I do. I'm a big Premier League fan. When Harry Kane was playing, I was a big Tottenham fan when he was there. And now, obviously, I follow Bayern, so Harry Kane's my man.
Harry Kane's your man. Should we even ask?
Oh, man. For the current players right now, Ronaldo, man, he is a GOAT, but we all know who the real GOAT is.
Oh, the Pele brother.
Agreed.
I don't know why he's not in the discussion most of the time. But
All right. I don't really have any favorites. I just, not at all. I just like players in general, especially, with the Argentina blue. But anyway, yes, everyone knows I'm a big Lionel Messi fan and always have been. So everyone's got their favorite stars. Going a little bit into the coaching part of this, you watch Harry Kane play. What are your thoughts on England's inability to score? Is it because they're shutting Harry Kane down? Do you think they've got the right strategy there? Thoughts?
I think they are shutting him down more. they know their opponents know that he's the target player. So if they can shut him down, they're going to lessen their goal scoring capabilities. However, England has some powerful weapons and other players that should be able to step up and put the ball in the back of the net.
Big shiny guns. I mean, lots of teams have come here with big shiny guns.
Right.
What did you think about, say, Ronaldo's performance with Portugal so far?
He played much better in that second game. I mean, I actually had, I was at that game, so being able to see it, it was all Portugal fans. There was a few Uzbekistan fans there, but it was probably about 99% Portugal fans.
That's a long way to come if you're coming from Uzbekistan down here.
And seeing Ronaldo up close, man, he really wanted that third goal at the end. He was smiling about it, but he didn't get it. He'll get this next one against Colombia. He's got to show up big for them to have a chance to win.
Not bad. And do you think, I think we've talked about this before, if they have their target men and who can put the goals in, the teams are going to try to get the ball to them, mostly. Do you think sometimes they're trying way too much with that same tactic and not adapting and, say, missing other shots? As a coach, what would you think about that?
Yeah, they need to be able to create scoring opportunities. Now, how much time these national teams have had to create some kind of chemistry and set up some game plans in certain situations, I don't know. But those are going to be the focus areas that they need to use going forward.
Very cool. Agreed on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If you look at a couple of these teams, they want to play through Ronaldo. They want to play through Messi. He's the only one that's scored so far for Argentina. I mean, the team that I think is to beat right now would be France. They have so many weapons that who do you stop? You have Mbappe, but then you have freaking
Dembele.
Dembele and Doué and all of them. It's like, who do you stop at that moment? Their defense might be their Achilles heel, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, as long as they don't let you get the ball back there.
Yeah.
They're pretty solid.
They're going to score goals.
I know. So they've been working really well with that. And to your point, we were just discussing this last night. One of my favorite teams going into this, a powerhouse team that I thought for sure was in the running right off the bat, was Spain. Another team that I had in my mind, Turkey, Morocco for sure. And some of these teams are just not showing up. Last night alone, watching the Spain game, I can tell you that my mind doubts that this team could stand up to France. That's my take from what I've seen.
Yeah.
They have a lot of talent. They do have a lot of talent. The Spanish team has a lot of talent, but they're just not there. It's a young team. It's a fast team. They're very creative. They're very good, but they just don't have that extra that France seems to bring. Now, I don't know if that's because they're veterans already. They've been at the World Cup, was this third time, and they want it again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that Spain's going to have to do is slow the game down. That's what they do best, is control the possession. It's the only way they're going to beat France, is keep the ball away from them.
Yeah, and France has these veteran players. They know how to play well with each other. They can complement each other. They have that chemistry that some of the younger teams, like you said, Spain, might not have. And you can put some of the best players together on a team, but that doesn't mean they're going to be able to play correctly. So it's just about that experience and chemistry.
That's one of the most fun aspects about being a coach, especially even in the youth levels, is if you end up with a good team one year and they happen to go, hey, these 6 players should go to the higher team. Here's all new players. And they don't click. You're tasked with the job now of trying to put this team together to work. So I can only imagine at that level with the egos and the money going, okay, Ronaldo, so I need you to take a step back and feed the ball to Brian. And he's like, well, I don't do that. I stand here and you feed me. And this is how it works. So you got to be able to manage these guys at some point, right? So that's something big. All right, England versus Ghana. Now here, England got to a scoreless draw against a very defensive Ghana team. Harry Kane was not able to convert here. He even Harry Kaned a ball completely. And if you don't know why, what was it, a couple of World Cups ago, he had a PK and he skied it. And I was coaching a team at that time of kids. One of our players had a PK opportunity. He missed it. And they said, oh, no, you Harry Kaned it. So that term forever stuck in my brain. I saw him do it the other day. He skied it. And I went, he Harry Kaned that ball. That's just what it is. Sorry, Harry.
I like to use the Roberto Baggio.
The Roberto Baggio.
Don't take Harry Kane out of it.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So controversy right there. And check out this slide here. We're going to be looking at one of the penalty kicks that came up. And next one, please. And right there. All right. So as you can see here, possible penalty kick not awarded to Ghana. You can see the player stepping into the box, right? Center referee let it go. As he was on the ground, as the Ghana player made it to the ground, he managed to get his foot over to the ball, kick it towards the goal. One of his players was already in front of him, so he was offside. That play was dead. Okay. As a referee, I was looking at this and thinking to myself, okay, the only time I recognized that as a PK was from this angle. I see the play. I see the way they're playing, that they're building up. It's rough, good stuff. I wouldn't have called this. I don't think I would have seen this enough to call it. Just said, no, play on, good contact, nothing. From the angle that the referee generally takes, I would have taken off to the left, so I would have been over on this gentleman's left hand. Looking in, I don't think I would have seen that contact. At that point, I think I would have leaned on my AR, assistant
Correct.
referee. What are your thoughts on this?
Yes, you would want to rely on your AR. He or she should be in a good position to see that, probably better than the center. But at the same time, even if both of them don't see it, that's why we have VAR, and that's why we have this type of angle to go back and to reference it and make it right if you got it wrong.
Isn't that crazy, though, what you can see now? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I've looked at this play multiple times trying to see where the ref was. He was a little bit too straight on, so he did not take that angle that we are taught to do. Whether it's to the right or the left, the right angle would closest to his AR probably would have been the best there. But usually you're trying to take that left so you keep the ball between you and your AR. So he may not see that. But the minute you see the defender leave his feet, you should know something's up. Whether he gets the ball or not, that's going to be a dangerous tackle as it is. So you need some confirmation from your AR or from VAR or somebody that something is amiss.
Okay.
Like what's going on here? That doesn't look right.
Okay. All right. So on the field, running after this call, you're running here. What do you think you would have called? Having seen the play, build up to this, based on your center referee perspective, no VAR, what would you have done?
If I was center, I'm calling a PK just because, like Tiffany mentioned, he left his feet. It's coming from behind. He had to reach and grab with his legs. So just off of that criteria alone, I'm calling a PK.
Okay. All right. Your call?
The infamous, but I got the ball. That doesn't matter. We can't go through the player to get the ball. Even though he got a little touch, and that would be the only reason I can see that VAR did not intervene here, is he scissor kicked him to get the ball and a little touch forward, and maybe that's why the ref didn't call it, but I have a PK all day. We missed that one as refs.
Okay. All right. And as a referee myself, if I'd gone down the left side, I wouldn't have seen it. I am a little more apt to play that dangerous call. So I would have let it go. I would have let it play on to see. And if he had made that ball from the ground into the goal, fantastic. But letting it go at that point doesn't mean I wouldn't have called it back. Because I think that was a perfect opportunity for him to score. He was denied there. Yeah, I would have called the PK. I would have let the play go, wait to see, because he was on the ground, let it go from there, and then called it back. If I saw, the offside thing happen, I would say, nah, back here. That's a PK. I'm calling this. So I don't know why he didn't override that. Why did the VAR not catch this? I mean, there's a referee in the VAR booth, right? So you're looking at this over and over. Stop play, reverse play, reverse play. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, even if the VAR referee doesn't want to make the call, at least tell the center, hey, go look at it. Go look at it from this angle and tell us what you think.
Yeah, I think that would have been.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I don't know if that's necessarily what VAR is there for. It's there for clear and obvious overturn, and maybe VAR didn't have enough. That's why they don't have them. Because, like I said, he got that touch. So I'm interested to see when the commentary comes out from the VAR from this, because Pro usually puts out a lot of the controversy VAR reviews out on YouTube. So whenever that comes out, I'm sure we're going to get some better knowledge of why they didn't review
We're going to
that.
have plenty of arguments on this one forever. Because of the VAR, I think that the refereeing, what we do is in the spotlight. More so, I think, than any other World Cup, because any other World Cup, I don't think I've paid that much attention. I've been like, oh, the referee's doing this, referee's doing that. No big deal. But now the focus is on. I'm really, really hyper-focused on it going, so how are they working this?
Right.
Why are they not doing that? What's going on here? Who's in charge? What's the call? And I see a lot of frustration coming from some of the teams where they're even starting to second-guess the referee on the field, and they're going, hey. And the referee goes, no, I got it. Call's made. But I think of that. If I'm on the field and some kid goes, no, ref, check it. It's done. It's done.
Right.
It's like, I've got it. How much argument are you going to get from them and the coaches now?
Well, and then if you cater to that, to the players doing the VAR, and you're checking every single time, now they're going to start questioning everything you do. But as a referee, you have to be committed to your call, and you got to, be confident, saying, hey, this is my call, and that is what it is, until, like you said, VAR overturns it with clear and obvious.
Well, they're constantly talking in the center's ear. They're all working as a team and communicating. And if you watch some of these games with some of the better referees that do it properly, they'll let you know, hey, nothing, which means VAR is already checking it while it's in play, because let's say the ball doesn't go out of bounds or there's not a foul, so we don't have a stoppage. And we're going for a couple minutes, letting them know, hey, here, VAR's already checked it. I don't need to stop it at the next stoppage and do a check. We already had it checked, and we're here letting them know. And I like when the refs do that, because it lets us as fans know that actually know what they're talking about, that it's already been checked, we're good, let's go. VAR is aware of it. They saw nothing, we're going to play.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. Like I said, it's in the spotlight now. I'm really hyper-focused on it, and I didn't think that's what I would be focused on. But it's a big deal now. And we're going to get further into it. So expect to be talking about this one 3 World Cups from now. It's still going to be there. This is a big deal. And we got more to come for that. Morocco versus Haiti. Morocco finally shows up. One of the powerhouse teams that I thought was originally going to be there. They finally started scoring goals. They have not been doing much of anything. They're fast, highly technical, great tactics, but nothing. And I'm like, okay, all right. They took Brazil to a 1-1 draw. That's fantastic, because it's a powerhouse, right? And then they just kind of laid back and slept the rest of the time. Now they're here. So, interesting thing to see some of these teams finally light up. Turkey was another one. I really wasn't sure what to expect. Starting out in the World Cup, I really thought Turkey was going to come into it. Like, boom. From a coach's perspective, I'm trying to see, if you have a team that's firing on all cylinders through the offseason and you see it, what do you think are some of the things being missed as they get to the World Cup that they are not producing? You think it's the pressure? You think it's just the whole...
Yeah. I mean, you, as a coach, you can train all day long, but what you can't train is the pressure and the big stage that the World Cup has to offer. And so even though these are world-class athletes, there's not anything quite like playing in the World Cup. So, and with some on, like for the U.S. on your home soil, but you can't recreate that pressure, and that is, those butterflies come into play, and it's going to take a little while for them to settle in.
Right. I mean, just speaking of Turkey alone, they had 62 shots in the first 2 games, no goals. Is that them not playing well? Is that just the goalies making great saves? Who knows? They created their chances. They just couldn't put them away. I think Turkey was probably the better team than the other 2 that went on. They just got unlucky and didn't score. But, of course, go against the U.S. and their scrubs, they scored. So,
Tell us how much you love Team USA. Come on.
I like them, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want to like them. I want to like USA. I really want to. But I don't know if we're hypercritical because it's our own country, because we've coached here, because we seem to know which pathway these kids took. And I'm going, they're missing that. Somebody didn't teach them that. What the heck?
Yeah.
I mean, what is your thought?
I'm liking what Pochettino is doing. I like the tactics. I like their movement, their speed of play. And so far they've been successful with it. Yeah. I mean, you can't really take into account the Turkey game just because he didn't have all his starters, and he gave some other players playing time. You don't want to get injuries, especially going into the knockout rounds. But they're still keeping up and playing very well.
Voice of reason. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
right. I'm good with it.
Yes, this is probably the best offensive USA team that I've seen in a very long time.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I can't say the same for our defense. I love Richards. I love
Timmy.
Yeah, he's there. He's the glue. He's the glue. We'll see. He doesn't have the speed that he used to have, but who's a left back for us?
Left back for us. Where? No.
No.
Kim McKinney. No.
Nope.
Any idea?
I can't think of it. Anyways, he has a yellow card, so he did play in the last game, and I can't think of his name right now. But he's those are our two glue back there. But take them out of the game, and you could see that we were just like Swiss cheese, just getting cut up. And we could score goals, but if we can't stop them, it's going to be a very long round of 32.
Has long been vulnerable to counterattacks like that, and they can split us pretty easy.
Yeah.
So hopefully Pochettino can get that last part sorted out a little better, and they might have a better chance. I like it. I'm with you. I like what I see. I really want to like them more. I do. I agree. I like what Pochettino has done with this team. I was one of those people watching the us versus the world, versus the world, and watching the buildup of how many times they failed, and he's trying to get them to click. And no, I'm going to try these players, I'm going to try these players, I'm going to try these players, and then showing up game one of the World Cup and going full tilt. I'm like, yeah. So he was the worst coach ever going into the World Cup, and he was a mad genius the day after the World Cup. People are like, well, but that's the way.
Well, he was supposed to only do the World Cup, and his contract was supposed to be done. But breaking news yesterday, U.S. has offered him the coaching job for 2030. So we'll see how that goes. Let's let him win a knockout round stage first.
He's a mad genius.
Play somebody.
He is a genius now. Isn't that crazy?
Well, and you got to think, those warm-up games and those friendlies, he's testing things out as a coach. You're testing things out, seeing what works. Those games are meaningless. They don't, but us, just like in the NFL, you watch the preseason games and people put stake on those, but it's not the same. So until he's fine-tuning pieces and tactics, formations, players, and then now he's at the big stage and he's taking care of business.
The U.S. actually looks like they have creativity, which we usually lack. We usually just want to go forward and boom the ball and then go and then play defense.
Yes.
But we look like we can control the possession, get up top with Balogun, who I said from the beginning is going to be our number one. He still is with Pulisic. Get him and Dest and get him going. The U.S. could go far, but they got to keep clicking. So we'll see how it goes.
Craziness how this all works. Seeing this backstory stuff. All right, let's move on. So Switzerland versus Canada, 2-0. Switzerland, they're still in it. Bosnia-Herzegovina, Bosnia's in it. I was not expecting Bosnia to still be there, but here we are. They have only played in one other World Cup back in 2014. So for them, from that to where they are now, that is a massive step up in performance. Kudos to them. Congratulations, guys. Good stuff. Scotland versus Brazil. Okay. Scots couldn't put anything up. Brazil just overpowered them completely. They were hanging on as of yesterday in the 8th spot of the top third place teams.
They're 10th as of yesterday.
They've been relegated in that
and they have a
bracket.
very, very outside chance, but they need a lot of miracles to happen. They're not completely out of it yet, but let's go Scotland.
I don't know about you, but I've been in tournaments like that where I've taken a team and you're at the very end of that three-game series going, okay, if that team loses, if that one ties, and this one gets hit by a meteor, we go through. Yes, we
so
can make it.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Saying there's a chance. All right. Which is kind of interesting.
Always. And you're always putting out hope, because it's not over until the numbers say otherwise.
Hey, the U.S. have been talking about miracles the whole tournament, so maybe Scotland needs to
Why
win.
not Scotland and Donnie the Duck, the Tartan Army? Yes. We've all had the kilt conversation. But you guys are more than welcome in this World Cup, and hopefully there's a good result for you here. If not, well played, guys. Really good stuff. Mexico versus Czechia. That was a great night. I think it was an easy win for Mexico. No problems there. I was really rooting for Guillermo Ochoa. Because by all indications, he wasn't coming on.
Right.
Everybody I talked to, why is Memo not starting? Why is he not here? And I'm like, look, guys, if you're the coach, you're going to go with tried and true until it's locked in. And then once it's locked in, you go, okay, hey, go ahead and suit up, man. We got you.
Right.
So that made sense to me that he got the last 20 minutes of game time. That was good. I didn't think he should start. I think the team should have secured the win first and then go with that. So I thought that was good. I did like the fact that he got the big standing O, and out of that build out from his kick, they ended up getting that third goal. Right. So good job, Memo. Congratulations on 6 World Cups and actually playing in 4. Wow. Most people are lucky to just get 1. So that's pretty awesome.
And you can tell his team loves him. Like after the game, they picked him up, put him on their shoulders, carried him around.
That was great.
So it's a win for Mexico. Well done.
Pretty cool. So we started this show a few weeks back, and we talked about South Africa, right? The first match, the Bafana. They are still here. And back then we wrote them off, right? I was talking to my co-host at that time, and we wrote them off. Like, they're not going to do anything. They're still here. They're going into the round of 32. What is going on here? All new players, really. These are all kids with no experience, but they have a lot of enthusiasm. And sometimes that gets you places. I think while the more seasoned teams are working on strategy and how to combat them, they're just going, yeah, score more goals, woo, run that way, yeah, because they've never been here. So that's an awesome thing. Mm-hmm. And this World Cup has been full of those surprises, right? So South Korea then. I thought they were going to be in second place or first place. What's going on with them? What happened there?
Well, Son not playing in that third game kind of hurts them. That's their number one. That's the heart of the team. Him being injured and not playing really took the wind out of their sails, I think. And they just couldn't perform in the third game.
I think it did. Any thoughts on South Korea?
No, same. I share. I mean, you build that team, and he's the heart and soul of that team. And if he's not playing, it's just lowers your expectations.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the fun stuff. Ecuador versus Germany. Oh, my Lord. So for the first time ever in a World Cup tournament, this was awesome, right? Ecuador beat Germany. Crazy as it seems. They had other ideas than just taking the loss and getting overpowered. They came to play. Hard, rugged, tough soccer, okay? They actually took it to the Germans here. They kept pressing the German team, finally got a corner kick, kicked it right out of Neuer's hands. Neuer, one thing I haven't seen, and I've talked to my son, other players, they say, maybe he's getting older. And he waited to basket catch that ball. He didn't go to it. He was like, here it comes. I am Neuer. Come to me, ball. And the Ecuadorian player goes, no. Flicks it out of his hands into the goal. Cool stuff, right? That was great. So let's talk a little bit about some of the decisions on this game. We're going to pull up a slide here, and I want you guys to take a look. Now, this is another one of those big controversies that we've seen in this World Cup. The all-female team, the all-female American team, Tori Penzo, Carrie Mayo, Brooke Mayo, and Catherine Nesbitt, they were the ones running this game, which I think they're doing a fantastic job. Here's the question, right? First half, German player kicks the ball high up and close to the Ecuadorian player's head, okay? It actually struck the Ecuadorian player's head on his way back down. There was no foul call by the referee. No VAR review. Germany scored from the resulting pass of this one. So, very much rightly so, the Ecuadorian coach is losing his mind. What the heck? Did he go out for a cup of coffee? What happened here? Your thoughts on this play?
I think it's a legitimate high kick, dangerous play. Yes, the Ecuadorian player went in, but he's trying to head the ball, and it just hit his foot. So it's a dangerous play.
Okay. You would have called this foul?
All day.
All day. Okay. All right. Ms. Tiffany.
First of all, I'd like to start off with Tori does a great job. She did a great job in the South Africa-Czechia game.
Oh, yeah.
She still did a great job here, but missing a call, especially early in the game, you lose a little bit of credibility, especially if Ecuador thinks that they are on the losing end of that call. So any call after that, they think that they should get that call or anything against them, they're going to argue. You lose any credibility missing that call right there. VAR should have helped her out. Only thing I can think that maybe was not a dangerous play, like he said, like Brian said, leaning into it. His foot was already up there. The Ecuador player comes there. To me, he still has cleats up. I'm calling dangerous play coming out.
So, game management, which is where you're coming from on this, and the foul itself, dangerous play, game management. Yes, if you miss a call like that, not even a missed call. Let me give you my devil's advocate point on this. To me, and I've done this many times over the years, so I'm one of those that gets yelled at quite a bit every now and then. The foot was already up. He's about 3 feet away. I'm not calling that as dangerous play, right? Or playing in a dangerous manner. The player himself, from what I see, frame by frame, looks up, sees it, and then moves his head into his foot. Ball was way overhead, right? Let's call it, a quick reaction. He just went in. He thought he was going to get it. No, he knew what he was doing, but we can't referee intent. Okay? I can't call intent. I don't know that. But what I can say is I wouldn't have called that kick in the first place. The coming down, I probably would have given him a yellow after the goal was scored and come back and said, yeah, okay, foul, but you're actually the one for dangerous play. I'm not going to give you the yellow, but I'm going to give it to him. Period, end of story. Controversial. I'm telling you right now, that causes all kinds of problems. But I think that's what she saw. I think she saw the kick up. Then she saw the player interact with the foot. She let it play. Because after that, she was like, oh, he's trying to foul the guy with the ball and get that play stopped. That was my take on it. So she let it go, results in a goal. Okay. And again, we're dealing with the laws of the game and the application. Experience comes into it. If you're looking at what's going to happen afterwards, game management, then you're thinking, okay, if I do nothing here, if I don't manage this one way or the other, this gets out of control. If I'm looking at the coach, right, he's losing his mind because I just blew a major call that could have cost him a game, right? And again, my way of handling it would have been, I would have let that one go. On the way down, he did hit him. Play on, finish, come back. Hey, come here. Yeah, you got the goal, but that's still a foul. There's a yellow for you. You okay? All right, somebody check him out. Done. But that would have been the way I would have handled that. Can't say what I would have done in the World Cup. I probably would have just frozen there going, guys, what am I looking at? Guys? But then again, there was nothing done with VAR. It was all hers. And as you've said several times, VAR may have said, well, your call on the field, you got this. And she went, let it go. I'm going for it.
Well, I think it was, 2 minutes in?
Yes.
And if VAR, this was the first time an all-women crew, all-female crew? Second time.
Yep.
So all-female crew, 2 minutes into this game, and then the VAR steps in and undermines all of a sudden. That kind of sets a tone as well. So maybe that's why VAR just let it go, let the center her call stand.
Right.
Good take on that.
And I mean, he does get a touch on the ball before the player's head is in there. She's right there. I mean, Tori is probably in better position more times than most men out there. If you watch her, she's at the top of that 18. She's there. You can't say that she was not in position to make that call. So what she saw, she's going to go with it. She knows what she's doing. So I'm not going to argue with her.
I've seen dangerous play in many instances. I'm sure you've seen it in many instances, both ways, right? There's a player putting himself in a dangerous position. That's playing in a dangerous manner. If you stick your head down where the player's about to kick a ball, that's playing in a dangerous manner. You can't fault the guy for taking the kick there. kind of going with that here. Yes, the high kick foul, as we hear all the time. That's a high kick. High kick. Dangerous play, guys. It's playing in a dangerous manner. Dangerous play. So it's interesting that this is sparked another debate about refereeing and the VAR. Earlier or later in the game, there was another call where she was running down the field. Player, Ecuador's got the ball. German player fouls him. Very light, I thought. Very lightly, but foul. Took the ball away, ran it into goal, comes in to score, gets clipped, not particularly, but just enough to make it look good for a penalty. And she calls the penalty. Called the penalty. Said, okay. VAR came back at that point and said, hey, there was a foul earlier in the buildup. Let's review that. I don't remember, did she review that or not? But she called it back. She did review.
Yep. It went to VAR, and then she did the signal, and she had to go over and look at it. And
okay. So they said, hey, look at this.
Yep. She
called the penalty back, right? And said, nope, the foul was over here. It's going to be free kick Ecuador. She got a lot of static over these two calls in this match about all over the internet. This woman should not be anywhere near these games. Too high level, too fast for her. She couldn't catch those fouls. Any number of things. Personal experience, I will tell you, if you're doing a match like this, yes, mentally you have to be 150% on because the players will test everything on you. And you're trying your hardest to stay focused with the screaming and the shouting and the gameplay, and you're trying to be as unbiased as possible, right? What are your thoughts then on, okay, so she missed the foul going up to the buildup. And let me add to that. I also have noticed that a lot of the assistant referees are not making some of these calls that are in their area. What do you think's happening here?
Well, the refs have comms on, so just because we're not seeing them pop their flag doesn't mean they're not having conversations. Okay. They could be telling me, hey, I have no foul there, or hey, I have a foul, what do you see? I mean, that's a conversation, your pregame that you have before. So, I mean, my dad, who's also a ref, likes to say that, why do we have ARs anymore? We don't let them make any calls. They now have a watch that tells them when it's offside. They have VAR and goal line technology. They have out of bounds technology, corner kick and goal kick technology. So what's the point of an AR? Well, they're there to help manage the game as well. They're there as another body to help manage the sidelines, help manage the players on the field. They serve a purpose, but just because we don't see them using their flag doesn't mean they're not there.
Okay, all right. So what are your thoughts then on this foul? If she misses it going up to this.
Referees are always going to miss calls. I mean, that's just the nature of the business. That's why the professional leagues have the VAR to be another pair of eyes. But yeah, referees are always going to miss a call. Now, as a coach, coaches always see the fouls that are against, that are on them or against them rather.
Yes.
But sometimes the referee either considers it not a foul or they just don't see it because of maybe a player goes into her pathway and you can't see what happened because the game is so quick. That's nothing against the referee. That's just the way the play is. But she looked it, called it back, and made the right call in the end.
Well, the initial foul at midfield where Germany won the ball and then went on the break, you look at it and he clips him, but it's a soft click. She probably didn't see it as a foul because we're going on and goes around him and he does get part of the ball. So I probably wouldn't call that either. But since it led to a break, which then leads to a penalty, which could be a CMI, which is a critical match moment, you have to call the foul back. Since you can see it and it builds up to it and not enough time has passed. Now the penalty, that's a whole different conversation. I don't know if I'd call that one, but.
Okay, all right. And back to your point then. All right, so if you're the coach, you've been a coach far longer than referee. Yes, you grant that they may not have seen something, but the coach sees every foul, right? Anything that's against you, you catch, you see. What do you see now as far as referee on the field, having your coach's perspective?
I enjoy when I get yelled at by other coaches, when I don't make a call, because I understand where they're coming from.
Okay.
And yeah, maybe if I'm on the sideline as a coach, I might think that's a foul. But now as a non-objective referee, I don't call it, whatever it is, but as a coach, I'm biased. So every little touch is going to be a foul and a free kick for my team. But as a referee, you got to kind of pick those moments, and you're a little bit more broad in those. Have you had a coach that reminds you of you? Oh yeah. And had to talk to them and explain? I love it. I love going up to them and telling them just to calm down. Because, I have been told many, many times in my 18 years of coaching to calm down. I've never got ejected out of a game, thankfully, because I know my limits.
There's a first time for everything.
But I have definitely pushed those limits. So I give coaches some type of leeway to a point. But then I know from, the kettle calling, or the saying, calling the kettle black, I know what their limits are and when they're going to reach, and I try to prevent those from happening before they escalate. All right. And a loaded question. And I'm sure you have, female referees, right? Any difference in how you feel about the way they call? Any difference in how you act with them, against them, as from the coach's perspective? Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts? From a coach's perspective, I've had both female and male referees, and there's no difference from my point of view. I always look, just like when I watch Tiffany ref, how assertive females have to be, especially when they're refereeing male games. Have to be a little bit more forceful, and especially with the coaches, because the coaches tend to try to push their will on female referees a lot more than male referees, because they think they can get away with it. And I've seen the female referees get a little bit more, vocal and stern, and I've seen you personally do that a few times at these tournaments. But as far as them calling the game, it's the same. I've had it doesn't come down to like a male or female referee. It comes down to a bad referee and a good referee. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. Now I know you've had one or two experiences with coaches that don't, stay in their lane, so to speak. One of the things that I love watching about you, ref out there as a young lady, is yes, you have to handle yourself very well with these guys. Some of them go way over the top. I think you do have to be sterner, and sometimes that comes across as, she's just being bleh.
Sensitive.
Yeah, sensitive. Oh, look at her. She's so sensitive. Causing drama. I think she causes too much drama. And I'm like, are you watching the same game? And I'm not going to reveal who, but even at some of the recent games we've done that we had anything out of control, people saying, she can be a little dramatic, huh? And I'm like, are you watching the same game? I'm like, look at the guy. Look at what he's doing. Look at how he's reacting. Look at the crowd. Think about that. No. I wouldn't have. Whatever you would or would not have done doesn't matter. You're not on the field.
Right. So
what has been your experience as you've come through this referee journey with how you deal with this?
Some games are worse than others. I can usually control. I love doing males games more than women, and I can usually control them, but they can get out of control real quick, especially being a female referee. I don't want to use my cards, but sometimes you have to just to game manage that. The coaches aren't so bad. They're going to be that coach that's going to be like that with anybody. It's the players that are a little bit more having to control. But I have found, even though that game has been maybe a little out of control or it gets a little testy, if I do that team or those kids again later on, they know who I am and they know how I ref, and so I get that respect for the next game. So it may come off as drama to begin with, but they respect it. They understand it. They understand I have a job to do. They have a job to do, and they understand I know what I'm doing. I just have to do it a little bit more harsh sometimes.
Makes sense. I've had a couple of other young lady referees that joined us recently that commented on your performance out there, and they said, "Oh my gosh, she's so confident. How does she handle that? I want to do that." all right. I'm like, cool. I think that's a good thing. Moving on then from that, have you seen any difference in the World Cup where we can say, oh, the male referees are just that much better than a female referee?
No,
Right?
not at all. I mean, the quickness of the game doesn't matter if you're male or female. I mean, they have eyes. They're seeing the same game. It's just their interpretation of what a foul is, and that comes down to each individual referee.
So, yeah, perfect. Yeah, exactly. I'm there. I think you said earlier we're getting different referees from different countries.
Yep.
I think we commented earlier that the other gentleman, the American referee, Ismail?
Yeah.
Yeah. He seems to have an elevated level of play on-ness. Even I can't match that. And I've been a referee at AR for a team. I remember this clearly in San Antonio. The referee comes over and he's got this kind of chest out, puffy thing going, hey, let me make the calls. Let them play. And I'm like, okay. So it got out of control. He wouldn't let me call anything as far as the fouls. And he just said, oh, it's okay. I got this. So very interesting. Beyond that, it's an interesting experience to see all these people from around the world doing this. So I think we're going to have some fun with this. One more thing we're going to talk about, but let's chat about, no? All right, not a problem. So let's go with then back to our final topic today. We're just going to talk Spain. All right, last night, Spain and Uruguay. One of the strongest teams in the World Cup for years. They came in and they're just not able to do much. This is where young team Spain actually was able to take advantage of them. But as I was mentioning, the American referee was starting to let too much go. Once you let one thing go, another thing happens, and another thing.
Correct.
And then the frustration begins, right? And as you and I have seen many times, once it gets to that, the stupid comes out. It doesn't matter what it is. There's going to be something silly done. Somebody's going to go, hey, and the guy's going to grab his face, turn around. Everyone's going to scream at you that he just got punched, and it's just going to go insane, right? And when that happens, you either try to get control back and try to be on your game, or you just let it keep breaking down. So Uruguay at the end was really getting heavy on the fouls. They got really, really careless. It got really nasty to the point where was Agustin Canobio for Uruguay, runs in full speed, tries to slide tackle the Spanish player, misses, but he's got those cleats way up. Misses him the first time, but hooks him on the return.
Yeah.
The kid, rightly so, goes, oh no, and draws a red card right into it, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that particular player, he was already upset with the play-ons. And there was an actual time when they had a free kick, I think it was in the first half, that the referee did call a foul for Uruguay against Spain on that same player that got a red card. And he's yelling and arguing with the referee, but he got the free kick. But, the tensions were already there. And I think it just builds up and builds up and builds up. And I know as a player, when I would be getting fouled and the referee's not calling it, I would go up to the referee and say, hey, can you watch so-and-so? He's grabbing my jersey. He's doing this. He's doing this. And if the referee's not calling it, then as a player, you start taking matters into your own hands. Mm-hmm. And then that's when it starts getting out of control. And then you're, at that point, the way I used to think, if the referee's not going to protect me, I'm going to protect me.
So game management being an issue here. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, he let a lot of stuff go, but he was consistent with it. So at least that's what we ask of refs, is be consistent. Whether you're consistently not calling it, consistently calling it, be consistent on both sides. However, he should know going in that Uruguay has to win. The tension's going to be up from the very beginning. Spain probably is going to win the game, win the group, but they need the win or a tie. They can't lose to Uruguay, otherwise they have a chance to drop down. So knowing that tension's already going to be there from the very beginning of the game, I probably wouldn't have let so much go. I probably would have called it a little bit tighter to alleviate some of that tension. And at the end, the breakaway that the left winger had on that first yellow, and then 2 minutes later, when he leaves his feet and cleats up, diving right into the knee, even though he missed and there was no force, it met everything else for serious foul play. I absolutely agree with the red card there.
I've had instances where I don't make the calls, just give the advantage. And yeah, you're right. At some point, the player goes, all right, you're not going to do anything, I'm going to do it. And that I'm going to do it turns into a whole lot of variety. Real interesting stuff. One question I'll have for all that is, why are we not going back and, let's say, play on? But I saw number 10 took quite the swipe at Brian here. And I'm going to go, okay, number 10, play on. Boom, finish. Come on, 10, get over here. And a card. At what level does that not happen anymore?
Well, so if you play the advantage and you don't have a reckless foul,
right,
you just have a careless foul, but you play the advantage, you're not coming back and giving a yellow. Okay, right, it has to be a reckless foul. So that's why he doesn't come back, because you're not going to double jeopardy. You play the advantage and let him go on. Right. However, you've seen it a couple of times where they do come back. Tori actually had one in her first game where she came back and gave a yellow card to the South African player for a reckless tackle where she played the advantage. They didn't score anything, but it came back. I think they got a throw afterwards or something, but came back and then gave a card. He's like, for what? And she points and lets him know. And this is where we have to be more conversational with the players, letting them know, hey, I saw the advantage, or be loud with your advantage. Don't just point. They're not looking at your arms. We need to let them know, advantage, play on, or come back like, hey, I had your foul there, but I gave you advantage. I do that a lot in my games. That way the players know, I see your foul. That way that frustration's a little minimized. Okay, you saw my foul, but you gave it to me? Perfect, let's go. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and as a player and a coach, I appreciate when the referees talk a little bit more and give a little bit more feedback. Even if they're not calling fouls, they're still saying things like, hey, I saw that, play on, no foul there. Because that kind of tells me that they're looking, they're watching the game. And same thing I do as a referee. I try to be as vocal as I can. If I think there's a handball, I'll no, it's not a handball. Keep playing. But to your point, Art, if I see a player that's kind of lunging a few times, but they're not actually fouling, but they've done it 2 or 3 times, after the play is over, I'll go and talk to them. Like, hey, you need to watch those lunges because you're very close to getting a foul. So just be mindful of those.
Cool. Yep.
Especially being grassroots. I mean, it's not World Cup, but for us that are grassroots, or even if we do some of these top MLS Next or ECNL tournaments, we still need to teach some of these kids some of these things, or they may get away with it here, but hey, we're not going to do it in this game, and let them know this is what the law is. That way they know we're not supposed to be slide tackling cleats up. I don't care if you got the ball. It's dangerous. We're going to come out with it. Let's go.
Yeah. A lot of good stuff today, guys. A lot of good stuff today. Well, that's pretty much all we got today. It's been a whole lot of fun. Who's your favorite for the World Cup? Who you got winning the whole thing?
I'm still... Okay, you probably think I'm crazy. I'm still going to pick England. I'm still going with England. I think they'll figure out. Hopefully, Tuchel does some magic, and but I know now they're long shots, but I'm going to stick with my original pick.
All right, so he's got England. He's sticking to it. All right, man.
Well, the best part about the knockout rounds is it all starts over. You start with the clean slate. So maybe you didn't play well here. Maybe you were saving it. Maybe some of your players sat. Let's see. But I have France. I don't think anybody can match up with them right now. I could be wrong. You never know. Somebody could sit back in Japan or Netherlands. I think it's the quarterfinals that France and the Netherlands will match up.
I think so.
That's probably going to be a great game.
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Yeah, everyone knows I've got Spain in my back pocket, but Argentina for the 2-time World Cup. And as I said at the very beginning, that's when that stolen FIFA trophy is going to appear to Leo Messi as he's crowned the greatest player of all time for having back-to-back World Cups. That's just me. That is my wish, my fantasy, because it is Coach Unfiltered. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Coach Brian, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Coach Tiffany, thank you very much for being here. I think it was a great show today. Look forward to having you guys back at some point.
Absolutely.
All right. Enjoy the World Cup out there. And from all of us here, thank you very much. You ready? Oh, let's go get it. Bye-bye.
USA.